Alright, another day in the garage working on the 940. It's been a while since I last filmed a clip because I've been waiting for a couple of parts. So I've been doing some stuff to the 940, which will most likely, which I feel like people don't care about really. So let me show you real quick. The cover for the doors are off, all of them, because I'm gonna get new door cards anyways, and so I just took them off because I thought I would have them by now, but I don't, so we'll just see when I get them. And here you can see I removed the whole center console piece, or not center console, but yeah, there, because there was a lot of shit in there. So I rinsed everything out, took out this whole basket of stuff. Not the fuel pump, of course, that's just extra. But yeah, and then under the hood, I also removed some wires like down here, over here in this area. So now the ones I'm gonna use are tucked under here pretty neatly, and the rest of them are removed completely. So it's a little bit cleaner, easier to work on and stuff like that. And then the whole trunk, I don't know. Go back here, I put all the flooring in. Focus, god damn it. Put all the flooring in where it's supposed to be, screwed it in and everything like that. Of course it's dirty, but I'll clean it at a later point. But yeah, so today I got some parts. So what we got here is, of course, I had this before. Head gasket. And then the gaskets for the exhaust as well. Then I ordered a gasket for the intake, as well as a water pump, a timing belt, and then these things, which are valve seals for the head. Now I'll just clean off everything where the gaskets go, and then as you can see on this one, some of the studs are broken, so I'll have to replace those. But first I'm gonna get the top on up, and then that's gonna be an issue for another day.
When the night was closing in, I was alone and so afraid. Couldn't see the light, no. Then my world began to spin. Where's the beginning and where's my omega? Had to make it right. Oh yeah, there's a moment when you know that every teardrop has to go. They be piling up inside. Inside this glow, could this moment be meant to be?
I hope you enjoyed the time lapse I did. Therefore you can see like when I'm working instead of me explaining what I'm doing, you're seeing it. So I put the top on there, torqued it down. Then I put the intake on there, all the connections underneath. I put the exhaust on, although only with 4 bolts, one there, one down there, one down there, and one up there, because the other ones are too short to come through as there. Yeah. Then I also put the timing belt on there, correctly aligned, and this fan back on. I think that's pretty much it. Anyway, really productive 2 hours-ish. So I'm gonna be back out here tomorrow, hopefully getting this thing done. And then the last thing I'm gonna do is change the oil in it to brand new, since you saw the oil that is in the engine. Alright, so I just put this valve cover back on and I sanded down the Volvo text so it looks nice and fresh. And now it's just the belts for the generator and the other stuff, whatever. And then the piping from the what's it called? Intercooler, as well as the intake. And then that piece of plastic right there. So let's... Alrighty. I'm now done with this. Except for I gotta change the oil still. But all of the parts and everything that went into or off to change the head gasket are now back on. As you can see in this is where I kept all the parts, just the air filter left, and then these 3 are old parts. So yeah, just now we got the coolant filled and the new oil filter on there. So we're pretty much good to go. Alright, the engine is complete. And so open this a bit. I've changed the spark plug wires, and I've changed, or the previous owner has changed the whole fuel system, so no problem there. Compression should be fine. And it's got the right timing. And so I'm thinking I'm gonna change these spark plugs in case those are bad. Alright, so I was just out to buy some new spark plugs so that I can get the exhaust on there. Alright, so old ones are out. This is cylinder number 4, 3, 2, 1. 2 and 3 smell quite a lot of gas, so I'm thinking there's some problem there. And then if you look at number 2, you can see that there's a bit missing there. I don't know if that can I don't know if that can affect anything, but if there's the damage there, there might as well be. These are hooked up to the engine. Alright, so now I've put the new spark plugs in there, and I've also put the ground wires on the top. And I only got 2 bolts in the exhaust still, but it's gonna leak as fuck, but at least we'll see if it runs. Alright, so I pulled the spark plugs out, and just to see if there was anything weird going on, like weird coloration or if they're wet or anything. But nothing seems weird to me. Like, they're the color they should be. They're not wet or anything. So fuel, air, and ignition is working, and I know I have compression and the right timing. So there's got to be something like the sensor at fault. So first I'm gonna unplug this and then just work my way through. I don't know what the hell it could be, but we'll figure it out soon. So these are not coming off with anything. I got one out, but then the rest are stuck in there. I've tried with multiple tools, that one, and they're just stuck on. So I took part of the exhaust off, and I'm gonna try to hammer them straight on and see if that will break some rust or something out, and then use 556, which is basically like WD-40 on there. All right, I got another one out from right there, and what I did was I flattened down one side, which you can see, and then I just took some pliers and put them in the groove, and then I could twist it. So now so it's snowing outside and I really want to go drifting, so I'm just gonna put 2 new studs in there and then get the engine to run good, and then I'll come back and fix these at another point when I have some tools that I'll need. Alright, so using the 2-bolt method, I was able to get this loose. And so now let me just do the same for one. So now I got 2 fresh studs on there. Now let's just mount up the exhaust. There we go. It's all mounted up. And although I only used 2 bolts here, it actually tightened all the gaskets. Alright, so I just replaced this with that one from my other 940. Alright, so it ran a little bit better, but now this part, whatever. Ho ho! Well, there we are. Now it's running perfectly. Well, not perfectly, but I'm gonna open that door again. Fuck. Yeah, it's running a lot better. This is drivable at least. So, as I was expecting, it was the mass airflow